need a cringy intro. You need now a cringy intro or not?
No, because I'm going to edit the cringy intro in.
Okay.
So yeah, I had a fucking.
What's your cringy intro? Like what do you have usually?
I don't have a cringy intro. I use like drum and bass.
Ah, nice. Okay.
Nothing cringy about drum and bass.
No way. Like it's beautiful. It's massaging for the eardrums, I would say.
Yeah. Not everyone agrees, and then when you play drum and bass, and some people are like, "How can you listen to this music?" And I'm like, "How can you not?"
Yeah, I mean, like it's a little bit niche, but I would say it was getting popular more and more in the last years. So I really appreciate the music, and I know you too, because I saw you like in the crowd, and I was like motherfucking Edward White, holding his head up high on my camera. Yes, great. Yeah, that was.
I loved it when you were in the crowd.
Yes.
And then there was a photo opportunity on the stage of like the three DJs or whatever.
Yes.
And you like literally jumped over the set. You like hopped it over there, jumped on the stage, and then just like grabbed your camera and then got them to do it again.
Yes, I'm not allowed to miss moments like that. So
no.
But
It's just funny, like seeing you go up.
Yeah, I would say this is my arrangement with like some festival owners that I always like have like a little bit time for raving in the crowd. But if there is something happening on the stage where I have to film it, then I'm just like switching in my head like to instantly job again.
Wait, I think you were like talking to a girl or something as well, or you were talking to someone and then you were like, "Nah, gotta go." Like the art comes first.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I just interrupt like very, how do you say, like inappropriate. Like a rude, very rude. Stop talking that bullshit. I need to.
Yeah. Shit.
And I can also remember you've been there with your girlfriend. Like for the context, we are talking about the Quizity Festival 2022, I would say. And you've been there with your girlfriend, right? And can you remember what I said to your girlfriend?
No, I can't.
I said something like, "You really fished the best fish on the festival," like something like that. I'm not sure if I said it like that, but you have like Edward motherfucking White. And she just had to laugh about it. That was pretty funny, actually.
Oh no, that's funny.
Yes.
Cool. All right. So who are you?
Yeah, I'm Peter Kae. I'm from Germany.
Yep.
Almost 30 years of age. On Sunday I turned 30, and I'm a filmmaker. And yeah, I'm actually like my root content I make is festival content, club content, actually everything what goes in the direction of event videography. And I'm like now self-employed since 1.5 years. I used to work for a film production company from 2016 on. And I was really juggling between like my job there, and on the weekends I tried to follow my own stuff. But then there came the time like in 2021 where I really just felt like overloaded. It was just too much. But there was always this fear that I need like this job at that company to get my monthly income in. But then I just said, fuck it, okay, just try how it works. And since then I'm actually like full-time self-employed.
Nice.
That's basically the short story, I would say.
So, how would you say has been like the best way for you to get into festivals and stuff? If there's like a young creative, maybe photographer, videographer, and they want to get into the festival, like to shoot it and stuff, what would you say the best way to do that is?
I would say the best way is definitely apply for like intern jobs first, so that you just offer your services for getting there for free. It's, I would say, the best way to get in contact with the media managers. And what I did, like my actually first festival I've been to and where I was like working was Liquidity Festival 2016 or 17. And there I just applied for a photo job. I got free entrance. And additional to the photos I made there, I just like filmed random stuff, and I thought
cool.
already like, okay, probably I can make a little after movie for them, just to show them that I like cutting actually more than photography. And then after I was delivering my photographs, I also delivered an after movie, and then they said, hey, it's pretty cool actually. We want to have you like for a small event, and it was like the Liquidity Family Day back then, like it was 2 months later. And there I did like my first after movie for this company, and they liked it. They really liked it. And since then they actually always asked me to do the jobs for them.
Oh, nice. Cool.
So yeah, I think like, and I think you can agree, like, especially like that you always have to like, you have to give first in some way, even if it's like bad for the niche, like for the industry, if you do stuff for free, like.
Oh man, I totally believe in free work.
Yeah, just don't do it too long. I would say, just don't do it too long. Yeah,
know your limit.
Yes.
Yeah. And know when they're taking a piss. Like when it's free work on your terms, like you went and made the video and then sent it off to them. But when they come to you and go, oh, can you do this for free? And you're like, well, no.
No, then you should say no. But isn't it difficult like to say no? Even if you have like a budget, you have like a budget in your mind. You think about this is like what my work is worth, so this is the budget I want to have, but I also really like the job, and then they don't have the budget to pay you. So what would you usually do then?
It depends on the client, if that makes sense, because like I love editing like fast stuff and things like that, and then it's like I know I can like enjoy that a little bit more, so I don't mind taking a little bit of a pay cut. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
so then
fully.
it's like when the other projects, it's like a corporate thing or something like that, you charge a little bit more. One, because they tend to have a bit more money as well. So, and then
yeah, and then you have to balance. You are balancing it a little bit, like.
Yeah.
And it's also nice for I guess for your show reel then.
Yeah, you get the nice shots, don't you? The ones that you actually want, and as well, normally with if you play on price, they're a bit more open creatively to your ideas. So if you say like, look, I can do it cheaper, but I want to have sort of more creative freedom over it, rather than some people charging you, paying you however much, and then they're like, oh, but can we change this? Can we change this? Can we change?
Yeah. So you mean like what you say with that is like as more they pay you, as more they have their fingers in the project. Yeah. That's definitely also a thing. Yeah, you're fully right. I get that. Sometimes it's really like nicer to just like take like 70% of the budget you actually wanted to have, and then you have what you said, like you have way more creative freedom.
Yeah. And sometimes you just want to let it out, don't you? And just like do it, and yeah.
And then no feedback at all, and then just like shut up, guys. This is like the way
happy.
I want to have it, and I think it's perfect as it is. But that's not
no
how,
more changes.
But that's not how it works. And I actually really appreciate also like feedback, especially from other creatives. Also, if they are probably not in the same like video creative industry, but if they do music or stuff, then I always appreciate that, because it's so interesting to see how different people can see like a piece of art. One guy would say, it's very slow, and I really don't feel like the music change here. And the other person saying like, oh, this needs to get in the intro. I think this is the strongest part. And you would think like, hey, this is not the strongest part. It's like pretty boring actually. So it's always nice to get like a bird's eye view on your stuff.
It's so subjective as well, isn't it?
It's definitely, yes. Yeah. That nobody has the same view on things. What was your like worst moment in you delivered a project and
I was literally going to ask you that question.
You were like so hyped. You were so hyped. Like you watched in the mirror and you really flexed. Like, wow, that's the thing. And then like feedback came back and it was just devastating. Did you have an experience like that?
Yep. Yeah. Fucking.
Who not? Like,
what was it? It was like, I can't. I'm not going to mention a client, but
just say that it was Nike. Just say that.
They were a fairly big agency sort of thing, and they had an internal videographer who, and they were very much in like the PR world. So it was all very like slick and professional, and I was like, and then they sort of brought me in to do like social content.
Yeah.
So really sort of quick, short, talking, do you know what I mean? Podcasty sort of stuff, and like really like a lot of content, but getting it all out there and stuff like that, if that makes sense. And then they were just everything was like wrong with it, if you know what I mean. Like the sound was wrong, the setup was wrong, even though I fucking like set it up and then was like, are you happy with this setup? And then they were like, no. Yeah. And then it comes into the edit and then they don't like it, and I'm
So
like,
you even showed them the picture on the screen, like. That's so shitty. Oh no way, we have the same model. Like I also have this model. Crazy.
That was just a branded one there.
Oh, okay, it's branded by who?
At Live Brand Life.
Branded by you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have. Oh no way. Okay.
Yeah. Mate, I'm so arrogant. I've got like branded At Life hats. I don't know if you can see it just above there.
Yes. Yeah, I was wondering, your pictures in the background, they look pretty nice.
That is actually me. That was my mate who took that. The other one's Prague, and then that one's Bristol.
No.
But yeah, I've got At Life branded like tops and stuff, and
No, yeah.
I like wearing my own brand.
Yeah, you know how to get that passive income in.
Well, it's more you don't have to pay tax in this country if you like are wearing like work uniform.
Yes.
So getting like a nice At Life branded top done, like middle embroidered or whatever, and then it like becomes like a tax-free thing.
Oh, that's even better. Yes.
So yeah.
That takes.
So tell me about your worst client.
Like the worst client.
Like from like I just
I
gave
would
you an
say
example.
I could put that like not to one client, but I think like the worst clients are those who don't even know by themselves like what they want. They just like they are not.
They'll see it when they see it. They'll know it when they see it.
Yeah, they just like if you especially you can pretty quickly like realize it when you ask questions about like what exactly do you mean. Like it's just like they have a feeling that something is off, but they just can't tell because they probably don't have the experience or the proper background to tell it, and then they just say it's shit. Like this or not it's shit. I like never, no client ever told me something like that, but they just said like they don't like it. And this is like for an artist, you can't like work with stuff like that. So if there are clients who don't know what they want, but then of course it's also probably a little bit a mistake from your side because you should have made clearly upfront like what they want. So it's also like a both two-sided thing. But yeah, my worst client was once. Yeah, I had feedback actually from like I did like a little Tesla shoot from Elon Musk. Like he did feedback on Whipstar. Yeah, and he was like telling me like that his car was like he was sitting in the car and I was doing like some. No, that's a joke. Okay, you're really. I have never worked on Tesla, okay?
I was gonna say, I was like, what the fuck? Like, you would just surely put it on your fucking Instagram, unless it went that bad that you like completely hated it.
No,
You're just crying, like sobbing over.
No. Elon never made it in front of my lens, like.
No.
But no, I can't actually tell what I just said. Like, it's the clients who don't know what they want.
How do you deal with it?
Yeah,
when you get a client like that.
Yeah, now like like definitely like smarter. When I started, I what I said, like my part of it was definitely I didn't ask the right questions up front. And now I really make sure that I ask the right questions and I always write it down. And then I always let them approve. And I always also send like images and stuff so they have very clear actually everything up front, and then they give me the final approval. And then they actually can't say anything later. So then
No. Yeah.
But if so, like in worst case, like for example, if I really have like done something wrong, then of course I either like tell them, hey, I create you some extra content pieces, or I just like this. I rarely make discounts, but I just tell them, hey, next next time I make you some more reels, or next time I'm gonna do like some extra work. So, but just if I really see like, okay, this is like a 100% my fault, I would say yes. And how do you deal with that? You're just like you're like sending somebody to the front door of the client and then you beat them up, right? Right?
How do I deal with it? I do, the same as you, like learning curve of building up that kind of process of, so then you like mitigate the hassle of it coming back when if you're like really upfront with the client about what you're going to deliver, how it's going to be done, when it's going to be done by, then they can't come back and say, oh no. But yeah, that's definitely a learning curve. And then if I mean, to be honest, if they get so bad, like I've had one where I did like what you did, and I said, oh, I'll come back, I'll shoot some more stuff, and then get it redone for you. And they just again were not happy, so I was like, let's just call it quits. I won't charge you any money. You don't use the content, and then it's just cut.
That's a
Do you know
worst
what I mean?
case.
Like just really cut it. Yeah,
but then
at
least you have like a kind of a neutral separation. It's not like they of course time from your side was investing. They invested some time, but actually you invested more time. So it's just neutral. It's better than to have like a negative, like you go.
You don't want that, like, and I think you get to a stage where you just grudge it, and then the work you put out is shit. So then it's like, do you really want to put that work out into the world?
Yes, that's also
you know what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's. I mean, touch wood. It's only happened like twice in the 4 years that I've been doing it. So.
Okay, yeah, that's actually not too bad. Like, I mean, like,
no.
Every chef who is cooking in the kitchen, like, had like clients who just didn't like their food, even if it was nice. Like, I think it's impossible to always.
I mean, every graphic designers have someone who's like not like their design. Every dress designer had someone who's not liked it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like everyone's had someone who's not liked the work that's been created.
Full, yeah.
But I do think that comes back to like choosing your clients carefully.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of getting like an intuitive feeling of like, I don't know if you can tell, but I can now tell when they're like the kind of client that's gonna. One, a big warning sign is if I send over a proposal and then they instantly try and get me down on price.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's a big like no, because I know you're gonna come back and like the two examples that I just gave you, or the examples that I just said about.
They really try to like push you down in price,
right?
And then
down.
they wanted to have like the full experience still.
Yeah. And then they And now if that happens, I'm just like, nope.
Yeah, that's actually that's true. Then you're just like not compatible in that. If you have a different, like, if you know, like, your stuff needs that time and you need to get paid for that, so you can pay your bills.
You value it, don't you?
Then they would pay. But this is like especially hard, and still, like in my case, still is like, it depends, of course, also if you have the power of walking away actually. Because especially if you just start like the first 3 months, I would say, then and if the client would say like, I give you like 30% of what you wanted from that, and you just don't have any other work, what should you do? That's why I would recommend to everybody, like, do start on the weekends, so you have like a job during the week, so you get your monthly
like build
payment.
it up, innit?
You have your monthly payment, save, and then you can on the weekend just take the jobs which are very fitting, and then do that for like 3 to 4 years, and then you actually only have people, which work out with you.
What would you say to someone who is just starting out? What advice would you give to someone, videographer or photographer?
Like also like in filmmaking or in entrepreneurship. What we like both?
Both, whichever way you want to take it.
Yeah, I would say, like, it sounds so cliche, but start with why. It's so cliche, but at the beginning when I started out, somebody gave me that advice, and I was always like, what for why? Like, I just like to make my edits. I want to like get seen by the world, so I can earn some love for my work. And But then I got tired of it. Like I got like very good feedback, and it was always like nice to me, and I got that, like, I would say, that hole of like acceptance or love filled a little bit because of good feedback.
Yeah.
Like people were commenting stuff, and it's so nice what you do. But then like you need more of that. Like I can understand every like very highly successful artist who's on the stage, and you
Yeah.
think like, Robbie Williams or whoever, like Mac Miller, they had everything, like everything. Like they had enough money, cars, like they had like everybody loved them, and still the hole wasn't filled enough.
Filled. Yeah.
And I think if you start with why, it's really that you do it for for yourself. If you find the good spot, you do it like not mainly probably, but you do it for like a inner conviction, what you have, what is right, and nobody can steal it. It doesn't matter if you get 10 likes for it, or just €100, or you get like 10,000 likes and 10,000 euro. You still have that. Okay, it was right to do that project. It was right to do that, and this is another level of very like fulfilling thing. So I would say, really be self-reflected and think like, am I doing that for the money? Which is okay, definitely. Like, who's not doing that for money? For recognition, if I'm doing it for myself, whatever.
Yeah.
But that you have like a good balance, a good fundamental balance of a couple of things, and not just, okay, I just want to be seen as somebody who is like the best in his field. And yeah, this is like shit, I would say. If it's too one-sided, it's shit.
Yeah.
That's my...
So what is your why?
My why is I'm still trying to figuring that out.
Okay.
It's not 100% clear, but I would say my why is I really enjoy it, that I'm able to capture moments where people like later on can see these moments in a calm environment in front of their TV, and they can watch it like with a clear view. They don't have the music around. They don't have the stress around. Especially, for example, when I do wedding films, they are like the groom and bride. They are so stressed all the time, the whole day. Everything needs to get perfect. And I really imagine the moment where they sit on the couch and they have like this nicely cutted piece of content together. They have the wine in front of them, and they can really like lean back and they can watch it, and they can truly like let the guards of let the walls of stress down, and they can receive the day without stress, and that makes them feel very fulfilled. And if you did a good job, of course, they makes them feel very like, that was so nice to see. And I think like if you are able to give other people a good moment, and they of course they appreciate that, like they tell them their appreciation for it, this gives you also a good feeling. So it's not just one-sided, that I always do stuff for other people. Like, I would never call me somebody like that. Of course, it's nice if somebody gives me appreciation for that. I think this is like just like a good feeling, that they watch it when they are 60 or 70, and they still remember that great day.
Have you ever read the book Start With Why?
Sorry?
Have you ever read the book Start With Why?
No, I've never. I think
No.
I did like from Blinkist, like a summary of it, like for 15
The
minutes.
cheater one.
Have you read the book Start With Why?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
what's your main thing out of it? Like, is it?
It kind of helps you. So I don't really think I've got a personal why at the minute. Again, I'm still working on it, but a company why. I can't remember what it was. It's something like to bring people together through brands and their individual communities. I think that sounds like what it is. So yeah, essentially, we bring people together through brands and their individual. Yeah. So yeah, that's the why for At Live.
So connection, like.
Yeah, so it's like building a brand around, like, so say it's like a beauty salon, it's like building a brand around that, and then having the community come there because they want to feel good, they want to have treatments, they want to do whatever, or I don't know, another brand like a gym or a CrossFit club, they want to go there because they want to feel fit, they want to feel, do you know what I mean? Like building the brand to help people come more lifestyle-y in the sense of like coming together. So it's like they're doing something together.
Like-minded people in general.
Exactly that. Yeah.
That's what really missing. I'm also like sometimes missing that. I'm like in a village, so that where like this is like your, how do you put it in English? Like this is like your main focus on like what you are trying to build or what you are building.
Yeah. So whenever we work with clients as well, it's like that's the main focus. If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So it's like, how can we build communities and help the brands strategize so they understand the value of that, if that makes sense?
Yes.
So it's not just like a transactional, we want more customers. It's like, how can we build a community that keep coming back, referrals and word of mouth and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and what is like, is there anything like where you think like this is like a key moment like in my work, like in a week or in a month, like where you really feel like this feeling of fulfillment, this really like that's like a moment, that's a great moment. Like it can be like if you send out a project or like if you just get good feedback or stuff. Like
I'll tell you, I know exactly when it is, and it's when like so it's like the kind of beginning stages, and I'm just working out like the design. So I'm doing it at a minute for a ceramic brand.
Mm-hmm.
So they do handmade pottery and stuff like that. And I'm helping her to do like the rebrand, and literally I can like put on a really nice drum and bass mix, and I just get like lost into it. And then, but I love doing that. Like I can find myself like doing that for ages. Like the ideas come, I can do loads of sketches and things like that. And then it's just, I really, really enjoy that aspect of it.
Okay, great. That's so good that you can really like extract these key moments. It's not just like a big moment. Like it's like a lot of small moments, right?
Yeah. So it's more like the kind of like right. So let me like kind of equate it to other things in my professional life. So this podcast, I love recording a podcast. I love having a conversation. The idea of editing it and then making micro content from that edit is just like like I like doing it, but it's not like I get more enjoyment out of doing the developing the brand and building out all the elements of it and stuff. So I do this because I do enjoy it, and like if I could pay an editor to edit, I would totally do that. Do you know what I mean? Like because I just want to have talks with like really cool people and share really cool ideas. But then the like the work or the what's the word? The benefits come from doing the work of the edit and the micro content and putting it out there and scheduling it and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what about you? What sort of is your passion area when you're doing a project, or what you're working on?
Like I would say like on a big scale, like the moment I talked about, like when I imagine like the people, it doesn't matter if it's a festival or like just groom and bride, like if they sit on the couch and they can see it again. Or also like if I do like kind of a commercial thing and the client sees like the performance of the video, which is like for me not as fulfilling like for personal people. But like on a small daily basis, for example, I catch myself, I really love it when I have the editing program open and I have the timeline with like 1.5 hours of footage, and I just go through the footage and I cut out pieces and I just delete here something and at the end of the day, like after 6 or 7 hours, it's like it's less and it has more order again. And then I always love the part, the rewatching part, which is costing me sometimes too much time. Like every like video about how to be productive in video editing, like one of the rule is don't rewatch. But I
do that all the time.
Yeah, if I have like a nice section of 5 seconds, I watch this like 20 minutes or so. Like, oh, this is so nice. It's like, but I think these small moments where you just enjoy like what you just did. And then you just make yourself a coffee just with the purpose of, okay, now I can rewatch these 5 seconds with the coffee. And then I drink the coffee and then I watch this 5 seconds again. And then I continued like after 25 minutes or so. So this is like, for example, something, also just if I have like, I usually make a to-do list like one day before. And if I can, like, at the end of the day, if I can, like, push the tasks as solved, and then my phone always makes a sound of, like, ping, like the iMessage notification sound. And this is really fulfilling. Like, oh, I did the task. I did the task. I did the task. Of course, not always. Sometimes I'm, like, just too unproductive. But there are days where I'm very productive, and then I think it's very fulfilling. Yeah.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
How do you stay productive?
If I would say, yeah, like, definitely plan like one day before, like, what you want to achieve. Don't put too much stuff on your to-do list, which is like this is something what I catch me all the time in. It's like I think, like, okay, for this edit I need like 3 days. And then at the end I need like 9 days. Like, no joke. Like it takes 9 days, and now I'm always trying to calculate times 3. Yeah. Because it's also like after 3 days, then very, like, this is a very bad feeling if you tell yourself something like, I need 3 days, and then you're not even.
And then it takes longer. You feel like you failed.
Then you're like, you don't feel good about yourself. So that's why I really try to don't push the stakes too high in terms of productivity. So that's why I actually also at the moment don't work as much in terms of hours. Like, I really feel like I have like 4 to 5 hours a day where I'm very productive, I'm very focused, and then I just do probably 1 to 2 more hours, and then I can tell, like, okay, I'm like exhausted, I stop now. So I'm not that kind of entrepreneur at the moment. Probably it returns, but who says, like, I'm grinding the hours, like 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day, like hustle, then I go to the gym. I mean, yeah, this is like, I always see like these Instagram, like these Instagram reels, and I used to do that. Like, when I was working for the other company, as I said, like, I did that on the weekend. I really did like very long hours, but I was in the end just exhausted.
You just burn yourself out, don't you?
Yeah. I also developed like stress related, like physical symptoms, and I said, like, no, then let's just like keep it calm and take your time. And if it takes like 15 more years to achieve something, it's okay. I don't need it in 2 years. I have time. No. I try to tell that myself. So
yeah. I remember you saying to me, or you commented on one of my posts on Instagram, and it was about the consistency is key.
Yes. Oh, it's been a while. But it's been a while ago, right?
Yeah, this was like last year.
Okay.
But you said something about what about taking creative breaks within the work. So talk me through that. Like, what is your creative break? What does it look like?
My creative break is just like, I would say hiking is definitely something. I go for a lot of walks on an actually like weekly basis. Like, when not.
So you don't do any editing or anything like that?
Any what? Sorry?
So you don't do any sort of business related stuff?
Yes. Yeah, I don't do any business related.
How long do they sort of last for?
Like the walks?
Or your creative breaks, like if you were going to have a creative break.
Yeah, so I try to implement like creative breaks, of course, like on a daily basis, like in short term, that I like start my day usually with a walk and I finish my day with a walk. And
so good walking. I love walking.
Yeah, just walking, listen to like drum bass, like other calming music. And when I feel like, especially like now also after summer, like summer's usually prime time when it comes to work. In winter, I really like December, January, I take just vacation like for 1 to 3 weeks. And then I just like also try to not check mails and don't try to edit anything.
Okay. How do you take vacations? In the sense of, I know I can do it, but my brain is always going, you could contact that person, or you could do that, or you could do this, or like, oh, you're not working on your business, it's gonna fucking fail as soon as you get back.
and you feel bad if you haven't done a day like where you haven't done anything. Is that what you mean? Yeah. Like that you really feel bad about yourself.
Especially if you go away for like a weekend or like a long week, and then you're just like come back, or you kind of get that niggly. Or it's not as bad for me now, but it was really bad, like at the beginning.
Okay, I would say I also used to have that, and I still have in some sometimes where I think I could have done more, like, but what is enough? Like, what is more? Like, what is enough? And then I try to convince myself that even a break is something productive. Like, even a break, if you do a proper break for like a week or so, it's actually like you can see it as a checked task on your to-do list. So a break,
That's a good idea, actually. Yeah.
that you see it not as like, okay, you haven't moved anything physical in terms of you didn't shorten up your timeline, or you didn't like send out mails, or but you just like the juice, like your creative juice was just like coming in again and is filling up, and that's like the break for me. So I try to see it as like something productive.
Okay. Right. Go. You just said a really cool point about the like creative juices sort of like filling back up again. Imagine it like a water fountain for some reason. You know, like where the bubbles come off.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. I like to see it as a candle with a wax, like the creative flame.
Or like go like yeah. If it's going in reverse and it's like
Definitely.
play it back in reverse.
Yes.
So yeah, talk about that. Like how do you essentially refill your creative juices?
Okay, like very specific things is
Yeah, get specific.
it's like very specific is like going for like a nice bath, going in the sauna, listen to like calming music, like classical music, for example, like which is like really like not as distractive. Eating very well, in like just like prepare nice food, exercise, of course. This is also something which really helps me. Yeah, stuff like that, I would say.
Oh, cool.
So like like on a yeah.
Sorry, say that again.
Yeah, on a daily basis, like I always try to do it on a
Making sure
daily
you're doing
basis,
daily,
like
yeah. So you don't kind of burn the candle completely
yes,
out.
yeah.
You kind
I
of
think
keep
it's
refilling
better
it.
that way. Yes.
Okay, that's a good analogy, actually.
And what about you? Like, what's your like place to really shut down your mind? Have you found something which really works?
I find so I'll go for a walk in the morning without any input. So no headphones on, just walking. And I tend to find like walking in nature as well. I'm really lucky in the sense I live in a village as well, so I can just like walk down the road and then I'm in like fields. Yeah, and then making sure I journal in the morning so I kind of know what I need to do instead of just blindly going in and going, oh, I need to do all this shit, and then like not having a plan. Like I think you said like the to-do list sort of thing, like writing down, all right, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, and then it's like you actually know instead of just blindly going in, oh, this project needs to be done. It's like so vague and you don't have any like clear, like edit this timeline down or do this, and then gym is a really good one. Reading I find helps me shut off and stuff. That's about it, really. Yeah.
Everything, yeah, where you really like just your focus is like reading, for example, is for you also like it's very like analog, like an analog activity. And if you compare it to like swiping up TikToks or something, which is
What's your ideas on TikTok?
My ideas on TikTok?
What's your thoughts on TikTok?
Okay. Yeah, I would say this is definitely the way to go for the future, but I was never, and I think I will never be a big fan of like horizontal, no, not horizontal, like vertical content.
Vertical, yeah.
I hate it, actually.
What about the short content as well? Because you make really nice long videos. Like even like the liquidity one is like a story. Like it's always a story.
Yeah. It's. I think like the viewer needs some time to really lean back and to like observe the story to tell like that the story is like that there's some like you can't tell like a good story. Like, you can in 45 seconds. Like I mean, like TikTok is proving it at the moment. There are like some stories which are so good, like in 45 seconds.
Right, I'm gonna send you an article after this.
Yeah.
That will change your mind.
What do you think? Like, can you summarize that article?
The article basically says it's a weapon created by China to destroy the West through happiness rather than machines and guns and stuff. And honestly, if you read into it, you're like, shit.
Crazy. So like with destroying, they mean like they destroy the attention span and the dopamine levels of the brain.
Yeah.
So that they
Yeah.
just they destroy the West through dopamine kicks.
Yeah. And just passive people who are submissive, and you kind of got to imagine it like a balance. Mm-hmm. So in China, they're not actually allowed to show TikTok. Because it's too damaging.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. This is the thing you read in the article.
Wow.
So they're not allowed to show TikTok because it's too damaging. So they have their own platform. I can't remember what it's called, but ByteDance, the main company, owns TikTok, and then the other one, who's the China one. The China one shows this is the first thing. The China one is limited to 40 minutes a day. Mm-hmm. So you can only go on it for 40 minutes a day between the hours of 8 and 10 p.m.
Okay, and then for 40 minutes.
40 minutes, that's it. So right, if they're stopping their own children and people and country from viewing for too long, and then you look at the average view time of TikTok videos, it's like 2.3 hours, 2.5 hours, sorry, I think, or something like that, which is just insane. Like, so, yeah, you've got this, and the other element is it's content that can be swayed, so that you see stuff like Joe Rogan and Lex Friedman and people like that talking about certain subjects, but they'll show it from a perspective of like a right-wing person. So you know, like a Joe Rogan podcast episode is normally about an hour and a half, 2 hours,
and they cut it together in a way that
the short videos, so it's like if you're right leading, it's trying to polarize essentially like right and left people. So it's like obviously in America it's Democrats and Republicans.
Yes.
So they'll just show you the Joe Rogan experience from the far right side, and then if you're like more left leaning, it will just be for the left side. So then it creates that polarization.
Wow, that's insane. I've never thought about that.
I'll send it to you. I think you'll delete it.
Yeah, crazy. So I don't actually. I'm not using it. Like I just use Instagram Reels. Is it the same there?
So not as much because it's owned by an American company. It's kind of having like an overlay though, in the sense of what's going on TikTok. Like everyone thought that like Facebook and Instagram was like the end of social media, didn't they? They were like, oh, there's nothing else that they could do. And then suddenly TikTok comes along with this endless scroll of algorithmically created content that you're just scrolling through. So then it like blurs off into Instagram and now YouTube Shorts and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not as bad, but it's the numbing effect is still there.
Crazy. And what are your thoughts like in general about we like try to not think about like what you just said, like about the article? It was an article or but like on short form content and also like on vertical content. Like, do you like that? Is it like, or are you like also like a cinema enthusiast who really likes?
Mate, people can't watch shit for a long time now.
Yeah.
I recently watched The Queen's Gambit on Netflix, obviously. And it's really nicely made, like really cinematic. The locations are beautiful. The acting is fucking amazing. Like, just and it's one of those things you just get lost into. So you're just like watching it, and you're just like, wow. Like I didn't want to watch it. I didn't want to binge watch it, so I had to like set like, right, every Saturday I'm gonna watch one episode. So it took me 2 months to watch it.
Okay, that's so good. Like back in the day with the TV series.
Yeah. You'd make a thing of it. So instead of going, I'll just watch loads of it, and but like I've told people to watch it, and they're like, oh, I started watching that, but it was really boring. And I think that's what we're losing is like, I don't know, maybe I'm just on my high horse, but people like not enjoying like the experience of like, because I could imagine some people watching like the Liquidity After movie and not enjoying it because it's like, oh well, they're just taking so long to get to the festival or whatever. Or,
Yes, yeah, I get that.
you know what I mean?
Or just like skipping. Okay, I saw it. Like, okay, fine, I've watched it. I can make a check mark.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
They are not with like this TikTok content. They are not appreciating the moment itself. They're just like waiting for the next time where they can use like the gambling machine and push the thing down. Like, what's coming next? Like,
yeah, yeah. It's that. Oh yeah, like what's coming next? So that
what's coming next?
Dopamine.
That's the dopamine kick they have. It's not even that the content in the moment is so nice, but what's coming next? But no, not what's coming next. Like, watch this shit piece of content and try to engage emotionally with it. Not what's coming next. Like, it's the same, but with everything, with like relationships, also like cancel culture and stuff. Okay, this is not working. What's coming next? Like, what's the next? What would the next girl would do? Or like, this is like in every area, like the same shit, and people are fucking themselves with it. And I also do that. Like, but I'm pretty aware of stuff like that, so I try to counter it. But yeah.
But the thing is with like TikTok content or Reels content is you've got that dopaminergic. This is my like bro science idea about it. So don't take anything. Take it all with a pinch of salt. If that makes sense.
Okay.
But you're scrolling through, so you got that dopaminergic of like, what's coming next? What's coming next? That anticipation. But you've also got that recognizableness of the same song or the same whatever sound that goes with it. So you know the sound that's there. So your brain's already like, oh, this is nice. But then you've also got that, what's coming next? And do you know what I mean? If you're scrolling through and then you see the same sound.
Okay, so you are bound to watch the content more, which is like, for example, like which the same music you like, you enjoy.
Yeah, because you've got that familiarity.
Mm-hmm. So the algorithm knows that.
Yeah, and it started showing you. It's like, oh yeah, he liked that song that was like, I don't know, fucking whatever. Like that Wednesday one was really popular, wasn't it? My daughter showed me it. I was like, no. I think it was Lady Gaga or something, but yeah. So you hear that song, it gives that your brain's like, oh, familiarity, but you also get like a new person or a new person doing the same dance. You know what I mean? So and if they're doing the same dance, you're like, oh, how are they going to do it this time? So it's like that.
Okay, yeah, I get it. This is like very tricky. It's like, for example,
but we've never had that.
Yeah,
we've never had that as
it
humans.
It would be the same, like if like now, for example, in Inception, you know, the movie Inception, like this is made by Christopher Nolan. But what if Quentin Tarantino would have made Inception? Like, you know the story, you know everything what happens, but you would be very curious about, okay, how would another director made this film? You would, of course, because Inception is a damn good movie, or with every great movie, like how would the other director would have done it? Like, if they would have the storyboard and stuff. So I think I definitely get where you get the same piece, but in different tastes. I don't know. Oh, my headphones. 1 second.
I think that's right. I think the same will happen with like AI generated content as well.
Oh, that's an interesting topic.
Yeah. So have you ever used like Night Cafe, or like the AI generated art?
Is it also from OpenAI?
So OpenAI have got an art generated one. I can't remember what it's called.
I've just seen it yesterday. But yes, it's also like you type something in, like I want to have, I don't know, Quentin Tarantino on a horse on the moon without pants. Yeah, and then they make it. Okay.
Okay. I think we're going to see a lot of like similarities, but then also like novelty in the sense of design and stuff like that.
Okay.
From you change it subtly, and then it's like, oh, what's the new thing that they're gonna do?
Okay, so also like with the same idea, but just with like different expressions of the idea. Okay, yeah, maybe. What are your thoughts in general about the future of like filmmaking and video production in terms of like what's coming with OpenAI and ChatGPT?
I think I'm very optimistic, so I think there's ways that you can use it to your advantage. I think you need to like if you're especially starting out, like learn how to use all this stuff. And get familiar with it, because I think it can be used to your advantage, if that makes sense. Like, you know how to make really good art, or if you know how to build a really good story using ChatGPT, like even other aspects of your business, like how do I send a good proposal? How do I what would be the best? Like, you could ask it what would be the best email to type to a media manager at a festival, and then it gives you ideas. So I've used it, to make proposals and stuff. It's like the stuff that I don't really enjoy doing, but it makes such a good idea, and then I just tweak it a little bit to like sound more like me.
Yes, but then also like your brain doesn't need to work as much anymore. Like, it's also like the same, like 30 years ago, the people had to navigate with like maps and stuff, so they have like a very good sense of orientation. And after the navigation system on a phone came out, like they don't have it anymore. So what does it make with like our creativity, like with our ability to think, like to get on an idea?
Push back a little bit in the sense that like it gives you the freedom, so you don't have to anything you do with your brain is going to be cognitively demanding, which is going to use calories and energy essentially. So by outsourcing the stuff to a chat GPT, it's essentially like me outsourcing the stuff to a copywriter. Like, if I wanted to make a website, do you know what I mean? Like, I'd outsource it to a copywriter, because I'm shit at copywriting, so I can get an algorithm to do it. I can focus on the design of the website and how it's actually going to work, then build a really nice website with really good copy. Do you know what I mean? So it's like kind of utilizing it to your advantage. I think. But I do think. I think one thing I've been thinking about is making like a stamp for like authentically human stuff. So from a design perspective, from a creative perspective, from a manufacturing perspective, having like, have you ever heard of like a B Corp?
No.
So if a company is very ethical and they adhere to certain standards, they can become a B corporation, and it gives them the stamp that means that they can show that they're ethical, they do all this stuff. I want to create one for human created content and stuff. It's like authentically human. Little like. But
that uses like the power of AI to expand. Nothing at all.
No, so it would be like if so essentially, like, imagine like a company wants to show that all of their work is authentically made by a human. So it's right. So it's a PR agency, and they want to say all their work is done by humans, and show that they could have the stamp that it would mean it would be audited,
like the organic stamp of food. Like people are still deciding for stuff like that they just consciously decide, I want to have it have organic, and what you are saying is like, I want to have it created by human. Like, this is that's actually nice. Yes.
Yeah,
I get that.
So that's my kind of idea.
I think it will not probably make the mainstream, but it will make definitely a niche, and there will always be people who are deciding to want to have the ideas of humans.
Yeah. You think like how big veganism's got though, and organicness and stuff like that. I think a lot of people will suddenly go, oh, I want human created stuff.
And then there's like a stamp for it. Like, wow, okay, that's an interesting idea actually. Like created by human, not by AI.
I've just put it out into the public, so someone's going to steal it.
Great, that's very good.
Yeah. What else are your thoughts on sort of the AI in the future? Are you worried about it?
Yeah, I'm always thinking about stuff like, how long will it take until I type in GPT, like T, like testosterone.
I like Tesla.
T like Tesla, yeah. How long will it take for ChatGPT to make like a intelligent video editing software where I can just like load in the footage and tell them, I would like to have this edited in 3 minutes with this song in Sam Coda style with a little bit of B-roll of Daniel Schiffer, like, and then with like lots of. I would like to have like lots of lens flares in it, probably a little bit like Super 8 grain that it make it would work, and yeah, just use the footage which was shot by nighttime, and then the AI makes it like in like 3 seconds, and then I watch it and I think, damn, fuck, this is so good. Like, I think about how long will it take to make the AI, doing that kind of job. Even though, if you type in stuff like, I don't have like an opening shot of the main stage, but please create a CGI shot of it with all the
like
pictures you have.
an aerial shot,
An
like,
aerial shot, just like with like Blender or so. Just create something that that it looks like I've shot it like there, but I didn't have the time. So just create something with the
use this photo
with a reference I already shot.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how long will this take? And I would say like probably.
I reckon you'll be able to like upload the still. Like, say someone got a drone shot and it was just like a still shot, and you're like, make it a video that flies over the main stage.
Yes, great. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Mate, that's why you need an authentically human stamp.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, yes, but if it's cheaper and quicker and faster, like with the AI, yeah, that's.
I mean, use it, man. Use it to your advantage.
Yes. Yeah.
If you can learn to become the best video AI editor,
it's also
like,
nice. Yeah.
Do you know? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then you've also got the passion projects of building something else out. Ultimately, you either like evolve or die. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
You either like say you're either Netflix or Blockbuster. Which one are you going to go for?
Yes. That's fully true.
RIP.
If you have the mindset of I don't like that, like nah, it's not for me.
No one's gonna do AI video. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you had that mindset, then
everybody would do it.
Fucking everyone's gonna do it, and you're gonna be left behind. So.
I'm pretty sure, like in 10 years, for example, or probably 20 years, I don't know. Like, if you imagine in your head, like an after movie which was shot on the moon. Like liquidity, like is on the moon. There are like, it's like a football field. On the edges we have like big spotlights, and then there is like Hulk Hogan who is doing B2B with Madu. And you can imagine that in your mind, like you have a picture now in your mind if you imagine that. And I think what AI will do in the future is that you can instantly, like, this imagination you have in your mind, like. And what I just said, like, this was like creative, I would say. And they can create it so other people can see it. And that's actually very nice. So you don't have to press 1,000 buttons anymore. You can just like imagine something very abstract, which is very strange. And then the AI is doing it. So you just need to receive the idea.
Plus, I think creativity isn't going to die, in the sense that you like, you just came up with a really cool idea that you can imagine, you can visualize in your head. And I think, like, if you're a creative individual, you'll never lose that. So it's like you learning how to use the AI tools to work with your advantage. But also, from this perspective of humans like experiences, like 2020 and 2021 really taught a lot of us that we actually enjoy going to festivals. We enjoy, do you know what I mean? You don't get a lot of that experience anymore of being in a crowd with loads of people, different elements and stuff like that.
Why do you think so?
Technology.
Because you're too distracted by, like, that you rather think, okay, tonight I'm gonna swap TikTok instead of going out with my friends, like something like that.
I think a lot of people do think that.
Yes.
Which is a shame, and it's annoying. Like, I went bouldering the other day, first time I've ever done it, but it was really fun, and it was like kind of like a bit of a community, if that makes sense. Like, people were like helping each other out, and they were like, oh yeah, try that route, and different things, and like. But I do think people will pay for the experience of it in the future more so than they do now,
because it's more exclusive.
Yeah, and things. So right, like Liquidity, for example. I know we're bumming it, but it's such a good festival. um, you think they've got music, really good food, drinks, people, experiences in the sense of like they had a yoga tent, they had like ice baths, they had the play areas and stuff, pool, yeah, different things that people will go and pay to have a weekend of that experience. It's that experiential thing, and I think a lot of businesses, they can kind of reframe their, especially if they're like a service-based business or something like that. Like, how can you make it experiential? I think a lot of people will enjoy that and pay for it.
Yes, I agree actually. Yes. Because they are getting probably tired. Like it's like a wave, like these hype things, like with TikTok and stuff. It's like waves, they're going up and down, and now we are like on the top where everybody's like rather choosing for experiences like that. But we will come back to the time what you just said, like where people would choose to have like real life experiences.
Yeah, with other people
Yes.
And all in one, I think. And plus with like the invention of the metaverse and things like that, I think.
Oh wow.
I think we're gonna have. I'm really optimistic in human beings in the sense that I think they're gonna want what is actually good for them rather than stuck on side talking to someone. I know the irony of it. Me and you talking on video now, but we are in a different country. Maybe we'll have to do a round 2 in the summer. If you want to find out more about you, where can they go?
I would say on YouTube at Peter Kae, and on Instagram also Peter.Kae. Also K is Kae.
And you know there's like a comedian called
comedian Peter Kae. Yeah, somebody told me he's also called Kae. But he is like I get it.